Okay, people, here's where it gets real high. MC, can you hear us?
DJ Valentine.
Yes, hyped. It's hype things up in here.
DJ Valentine.
Hype ting, DJ, big the DJ. Right, mate. Well, you just sit tight, yeah. Drop in something whenever you want, okay?
Okay, yeah, done. No, easy.
Okay, right, Sam, you ready for this, mate?
No, but here we go.
I think we are, mate. Right, let's do this. Right. Woo. Yeah. Okay. James, you got any romantic lines that you'd like to drop in the on the song now? Or?
Yeah. I'm trying to get. I think something. Hold on.
Sam, have you got anything?
I'll work on something then. You just keep playing guitar.
Wait. I got.
You thinking?
Yeah. Okay. To all the ladies and gents, feeling fine. It's dear Valentine. So crack out the wine.
Yes, son. Yes, son.
That's what we wanted to hear.
What do you think about this, James? I was thinking a bit like this. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Right. I was sitting by the sea. On the sun, it fills that old sky. What are you thinking so far?
I like it.
I was wishing you were here, baby. But I know, oh, my heart don't know. Sam, your turn, mate.
See it.
Should we bring this to a close, or would you?
Yeah. Because the thing is, Ben made me write lyrics last night, but he didn't tell me what the track was, so my lyrics don't even fit this track at all. I came up.
Okay, what about one last keyboard solo? Come on, man.
No, my keyboarding leaves a lot to be
been retired.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Well,
there you go.
There we go. Nice one. Right, well, James, thank you very much for joining us. So, how are you doing today? You all right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm great, thank you. Yeah.
Good. On the way to work, I assume.
Yeah, and I'm feeling a lot better now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how would that not cheer you up, right? That was amazing. The perfect thing for you to listen to actually on your way, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very calming.
I mean,
I must say.
would you
Feeling
like?
a bit romantic now, so I might have to call my girlfriend in a minute.
Yeah, I would. Do you want us to give her a little shout out?
We can just play this song.
Tell you what, later on, mate, get her to tune in because we're going to do something quite romantic for her. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to dedicate a section to her. Okay.
I will do. Yeah.
Okay.
Will do.
Excellent. Right, get her to tune in. Right. Okay, James. Well, we'll let you go.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Well, no, pleasure. As always, there will be a test.
Test out my vocals and.
Oh, no worries, man. Yeah, it's important. And there will be a test to check that you listen to the show. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. We'll let you go now. Goodbye, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Right. See you later.
Bye now.
All right.
Right. Okay. All right then. So, I think that was a raging success.
I think that might be the best thing we've done yet on the show.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. All right, well, welcome to your Thursday morning breakfast show here on Source FM. We will now officially declare this show open. Okay.
And just before we...
Go on, Sam.
Do you think maybe next time we need more than sort of 4 hours prep?
No. The thing is, I think if you just go for it like that, you just get that pure inspiration, don't you? I mean, trust me, man, I was about to just give my guitar a little kiss after that. It's like, ooh, just a bit of
I'm not saying your
pure
bits were great,
inspiration.
Ben, but I feel like you might have worked more than four hours on that.
Mate, tell you what, shall we put up the keyboard?
No, it's not put up the keyboard. Ben, just because you've made a keyboard that no matter what I press, it makes okay noise.
Don't
doesn't mean
Don't feel that, mate. Mate, the musician. Oh no, being a musician is like being a magician, mate.
You don't reveal the secrets.
You know, just gonna. Whew.
I'm not saying your
calm
bits,
down a bit.
Your bits were fine. Your bits were great, if anything.
Mate, my bits would have been nothing
without the keys.
Without the keys, exactly, mate. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll introduce what we've got on the show because I'm really, really excited about a particular thing that's coming up. And I warned you, and I think I might have ruined something. One part of the surprise. Did you see something?
I've seen something. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts so far on that?
I've thought for probably the 5th or 6th time Ben's brought chilies into the studio.
It does seem to be recurring, but okay. There's some. It's not what you think, man. It's not what you think. Okay. You're not just gonna have to. Well, I mean. You might have to try it. Well, you'll see, mate. Okay. But it's not... Okay, it's fair. It's a game. Anyway, right. Absolutely delighted, actually, to introduce a couple more fantastic guests today. So, first of all, actually, so I'm going to play a couple of these brand new interviews for you. First of all, with Robert Hannigan. Who actually he's the ex-director of the Government Communications HQ. So I was delighted to have him because really, it's not often that we get to say we've got a spy master on the show, right? And I'm going to have to own up actually to knowing pretty much nothing about GCHQ before this. Sort of went on, did a bit of internet research. Worked alongside MI5, MI6. Absolutely fantastic man. So he's on the show today because actually recently he stepped down as the director of that centre, and actually now he works with the Hiscox insurance company, of course. Basically on their cybersecurity, so he's their boss of cybersecurity. So now he's on obviously campaigns for Hiscox, but we'll be chatting to him. So that's absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to that. So he's actually basically today telling us, alongside senior manager from Hiscox, Matthew Webb, they're going to be telling us about cybersecurity. Actually, we're going to be touching on things like you might have heard about this. Actually, I haven't really heard much about this. I must admit to before I did a bit of research on it. I hadn't heard much about this at all. Actually, the cyber attack of the NHS and things like this that hit us last year, and actually this is an ongoing thing, and actually the current head of the this kind of cyber security centre, actually, which Robert himself set up, one of his main goals that he actually achieved whilst he was the director, which is brilliant. He set up this centre specifically for cyber security, and actually the current head of that said that he thinks a major attack, cyber attack on the UK is basically a matter of when and not if. This is an ongoing thing. Of course, there's kind of state level, country level issues, but there's also, of course, the everyday sort of cybersecurity. And actually, quoted as saying, these are the kind of cyber attacks which do the majority of people the majority of harm. So yeah, we'll be speaking to them anyway, and I think absolutely fantastic. Then, absolutely delighted to welcome to the show Brett Morgan. Now, Brett is a critically acclaimed director, writer, and producer. He's worked on a great number of documentaries. Yeah, you might have come across his Kurt Cobain documentary before, his Rolling Stones documentary. But today, actually, he's talking about this brand new documentary, which actually, if you keep listening, there's a way that you can listen to this watch this documentary, actually for free, because they're going to be broadcasting this on the National Geographic website, on their basically, and you can see it on their YouTube. You can see the trailers on their YouTube right now. But he's talking about this documentary about Jane Goodall, and this is absolutely fantastic. They've got loads of footage that's never before seen on basically Jane's adventures. I'm sure we're familiar with those, but he'll be talking more about that if perhaps you're not quite familiar. But yeah, I think this is fantastic. Jane, obviously a very inspirational figure, and I must say, I'm sure a lot of our students here, Sam, on campus, I'm sure a lot of those would look up to Jane as a hero. Indeed, as many of the lecturers and profs will as well, I'm sure. Yeah. So we'll have Jane. He's going to be talking about Jane. Of course, she had a close collaboration with Brett, of course, to produce this documentary. So that's absolutely fantastic. Then I thought I would really like to touch on a couple of highlights, Sam. Yep. So I tell you what, Sam, if you can think of your favourite number one moment from our time on the radio so far, I think we should give it a play. Okay, so I've selected just a couple here. Okay, which I'd like to play this morning. I won't give it all away, but I think this is one which you might have missed. This was our interview with one of the Dragon's Den Dragons.
The Dragons.
Yeah. We've got one of the dragons, Sarah Willingham. And I think this is a lovely interview and a lovely little piece actually with Sarah, because she's basically talking about the kind of entrepreneurial spirit being alive and well in our youth. Basically, a lot of young people making their own businesses, be it on social media, tends to be on social media, things like Instagram and things like this. But it's fantastic, I think, and she's basically speaking about how you can kind of further that kind of, if you've got the fire within you, then she will tell you basically how you can stoke the flames. Yeah. That's a terrible intro for a dragon, isn't it? And anyway, never mind.
I liked it.
Yeah, you liked it?
We should do more of that.
Yeah? All right. More stoking the flames.
Just more of that kind of passion.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've instill a bit more passion. Well, I tell you, I'm going one more passionate bit, okay? This is another highlight, which I thought I'd really like to play this morning. And then I promise you, we will get started, okay? One other highlight, actually, is when Nicholas Rodder himself, right? Yeah. MD of Rodders, obviously. He is on the show to tell us how to make the perfect cream tea. Yep. So, there's no better man to tell us that, really. So I thought, well, better recap, actually. Yeah. Always good to have a recap on that.
If people who didn't hear the first time are missing out. They're doing their cream teas wrong, potentially.
Exactly, mate, exactly. Right, well, time is ticking on, so I realise our little production this morning has probably, stolen a bit of, a couple minutes.
That's worth it, though.
10 minutes. I don't know.
Who doesn't like nonsense for 10 minutes of the show?
Well, I'm sure that's what people want for a breakfast show. I don't know. Anyway, right, let's get started. So I'm going to start up, of course, with this. I think, Sam, what do you reckon? Should we start off documentary with Brett, or should we go straight into James Bond himself? Robert Hannigan, sorry. Mistake there.
He'd only call himself Robert Hannigan. He wouldn't say, I'm James Bond.
Exactly.
That would give it away, wouldn't it?
Anyway. Absolutely delighted to have Robert on the show. Thank you very much for joining me, Robert. Also, Matthew Webb, delighted to introduce you as well, Senior Manager from Hiscox. Let's get them both on now. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy this, guys.
Hi, I'm Matthew Webb. I'm the Chief Underwriting Officer for Cyber at Hiscox.
And I'm Robert Hannigan. I was Director of GCHQ and set up the National Cyber Security Centre until last year.
Excellent. Well, a very warm welcome to you both, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Just looking at this recent report that you've just put out over at Hiscox, and actually I just thought it'd be really nice, if you don't mind, just to kind of revisit just the basics for a second, and just actually think, because I'm sure a lot of, and I'm sure you'll tell me this is part of the problem, but I think a lot of people, they don't really think about this very often, and this is particularly, you'll probably tell me shortly in a bit more detail, but in your report, you identify that actually this really is a problem for those smaller businesses in particular as well. But I just thought it'd be nice to just return to the basics and just think a little bit about what we really mean when we say, cybersecurity, because we are, of course, talking about defending against programs that are designed, they're malicious, they are designed to cause damage, of course, like the one that hit our NHS last year, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. I wonder if I could just put it across to you just to start, just to give us kind of a refresher on what we mean when we say cybersecurity.
That's it. From my perspective, it really is around the information and the data that organisations hold, either that's IP, trade secrets, or their customer data. And then organisations' actual reliance upon technology to conduct their business. So, the kind of situations that we consider impact organisations the most could be a ransomware attack like we saw on the NHS last year, or it might be a data breach where hackers get into people's systems, they steal people's data. That leaves the companies unable to trade, and that is organisations of all shapes and sizes, from German bakeries that receive ransomware attacks that then can't make their bread, to taxi firms who have hackers come into their systems and they're unable to send out their taxis. So that's the area we're looking at, and then it's the knock-on interruption to their business, so their inability to generate revenue whilst their systems are down. And then obviously there's the regulatory side of it as well, and the reputational harm, and the impact of on their reputation to their customers and other stakeholders.
I agree with Matt, really, that we live so much of our lives now online and do our business online, that anything which attacks that, and most cyber attacks are crime, they're people wanting to make money out of us in some way or other. Yes. Anything that attacks that makes life and business very difficult.
Yeah, I think it's just really good to remember, actually, because of course, I think it's probably tempting for those smaller businesses to think that it doesn't impact them, but you've just given a really big list there of real tangible things which happen to you, which are very, very bad indeed if you don't take it more seriously. And and Robert, indeed, as you were saying, is the founder of the National Cybersecurity Centre. I actually saw that the current head of that actually said very recently, last month I believe, that actually a major cyber attack on the UK is a case of when, not if. So we are actually talking about something that is ongoing, and it's a real threat.
I think that's right, and Kieran Martin, who you're talking about, was talking about the big high-level state threats. I think it's really important to remember that underneath, as Matt says, and as this survey shows, yes, small businesses are disproportionately affected. So we've had, I think, 1 in 3 small businesses knew they were attacked last year in this survey. Probably many more didn't even know. And they don't always have the money to spend that the big companies have. But the examples Matt gave show that you can easily go out of business, never mind having your reputation damaged, if you can't access your data. And I think the key message in this survey is awareness is rising, but there's much more to do to actually take action and take this seriously. And all I would say is that you can do basic things without spending huge amounts of money to improve your security as a small business.
Yeah, I mean, whilst we're right on topic, gents, I wonder if we could just point listeners in a good location to go to actually look up information. You're saying there are things indeed that people can and should be doing, and particularly you're saying small businesses are indeed very much impacted by this. Where would you urge them to go, and what would you urge them to start to do?
Yeah, I'll just touch on what the behaviours are that we see in cyber experts. So as part of the research, we ranked organisations as cyber novices, I could do better, cyber intermediates doing some things well, to the cyber experts who are well managed across the spectrum. And I think the key behaviours that we see in those cyber experts are really in and around having an awareness of the risk and an actual understanding of the risk, having a cyber strategy in place, investing in people as well as technology, and then considering insurance as a method of risk transfer. And so we've looked as part of the report to draw out 10 areas that organisations can look to improve their risk management around information security. And you can visit our website, which is hiscox.co.uk/cyber readiness to read those tips. But equally, I'd encourage you to seek out government advice as well. So the National Cyber Security Centre website is a great source of information. And the Information Commissioner, who enforces the data regulations in the UK, has also put together some great tips for business.
Fantastic. That's brilliant for people to know about that. So yeah, you're saying just to reiterate there, there are a couple of websites people can head to straight away. You're saying at Hiscox cyber readiness /cyber readiness, and also of course the National Cyber Security Centre website. Fantastic. And we're mentioning we just mentioned for a second, mitigating this risk and indeed what to have in place. If let's say you are following the guidelines and things, but you're saying actually you can of course get insurance in place, can't you, to deal with those, deal with the outcome, basically.
Yeah, spot on. And I think, probably most people's interaction with insurance is around either their motor insurance or their household insurance, where, I drop an iPad and the insurer sends them a check to buy a new iPad. I think the important thing to point out with cyber insurance is that we've looked to, or at least good cyber insurance, is that we've looked to develop a product offering that, yes, it has the check writing ability, but equally we focus upon the risk management services. Yes. So we provide customers with training before they have a breach to help them manage their risk. And equally, when there is a breach, very often, especially small organisations, don't know who the next phone call is going to be to. So we've sourced a panel of experts, so from IT forensics to privacy specialist lawyers, to people that can notify your customers very quickly, as well as PR companies to mitigate any adverse media attention that comes your way.
Yes. Yes, excellent. I mean, I think just a very, very brief look at these packages that you offer for businesses for this kind of thing, and actually, even if there is, if there's some crucial data, right, that it might be unattainable again, it's gone basically, but you actually can do things such as, if it was really necessary and it really was that serious, you can even do things like negotiate with the people behind it and things, can't you?
Exactly, yeah, and we work with experts, especially, I guess, to sort of inferring to ransomware attacks where a customer's systems are infiltrated, their systems are encrypted normally from a phishing email that someone either clicks a link or clicks on an attachment. And with their systems being encrypted, they're unable to transact business, they're unable to trade. It can be really, it can threaten that business's viability. And so we work with specialist consultants that have Bitcoin wallets. They've worked with these type of cyber criminals before. They will be familiar in all likelihood with that particular type of ransomware. They'll know whether they're kind of a legitimate bad guy in that they will send, if they pay the ransom, then they will send a decryption key and there's a likelihood of getting your systems back up and running. Or equally, these guys aren't as good as their words and are just taking the money. So I think it's crucial to work with those kind of experts because, it is a complex and complicated process if you get hit by a ransomware attack. I think the key is not to panic. Call the experts.
At this stage, I am conscious of time. We'll let you go very shortly, but I'll just ask actually if there's anything that you would like to get across now, which you think might be crucial for listeners to hear, or just reiterate where they can go for more information. Is there anything at all that you'd like to add at this stage?
I think the key thing, or the first starting point, is really to have an awareness of the risk that your business, your organisation faces. What data do you hold? Where is it held? Do you need to hold it? What controls have you got in place? And then go from there. And there's some hints and tips at those websites I mentioned, the Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, or the NCSC, that can really guide businesses and organisations through that process sort of step by step to help along the way.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say take action. Just have a look at those websites and go through the five or so things that really need doing and make sure that they're being done. And a lot of it is not about technology, it's about people and educating your own staff in what they need to do and what they need to be aware of.
Yes, I mean, just as a very quick point, even if it's as simple as things like, I noticed that one of the things which is really simple, which everyone can do really, is just make sure you don't click on, links and emails and things like that. A bit of training might actually just rectify that issue straight off the bat.
That's right. Or if you do click on it, and we're guilty of that at times, do something about it, tell somebody, don't just pretend it hasn't happened.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, both of you. I shall let you go, but one last thing for you. Now, this is my favourite question. Moving on to a bit of a lighter note now, just a bit, you don't have to answer, but I would like to give you a little song request. If you have any favourite songs off the top of your head or anything like that, I would like to get it on the show for you today, if you would like one.
How about Here Comes the Hot Stepper by Inika Mosey?
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, I'll get that on for you.
I'll go with that too.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, gents. I'll let you go. Thank you. Well, thank you very much again to Robert Hannigan and Matthew Webb for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time, guys. Thanks for joining us. Now, next up then, we've got, as I said before, this fantastic director, writer and producer, Brett Morgan, talking about his new documentary focusing on the life and work of Jane Goodall, which is absolutely fantastic. So he's on up next. But first, Sam, I just wanted to remind you, actually, because I don't think we haven't played this in a while, have we? And I think, we're getting people complaining about the lack of this song. Do you know which one Do you know which one I mean? Actually,
I think you're going to play the Bat song, but it's not my favourite of our songs. But we'll play the Bat song.
It's not
My favourite's obviously the Penguin song.
All right. Well, tell you what. Let's put the Bat song on first. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll get this on for you. Right. I mean, just listen to this, mate. Yes. Listen to. If people,
the thing is, I'm just impressed the Bats have been able to mix this themselves.
It's amazing
with their little hands.
It's amazing. Just in case, probably people are wondering why is that the Bat song and why are they playing it? Probably give it a little bit of backstory. This is basically just a cheeky plug of past episodes, but just thought we'd do it. Yeah,
this is the best of episode.
Exactly.
With added new bits.
Exactly, mate. I'm pleased that you can see that. But anyway, right. So this, is a song actually mixed using noises exclusively from basically these bat echolocation calls that have been picked up on these devices. these bat detector devices. Actually, we've got a fantastic. Here's the here's the bit. Here's the bit, Sam. No one will notice this. It's smooth, right? We've got a fantastic old show, right? Where we have. There we go. Did anyone see that?
Oh, that was so smooth.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Right. Well, we got this show right. We got this. Right, okay, I tell you what. I'll rephrase that. We have a fantastic guest on an old show, right, of ours. Talking about bats, and actually, he runs us through loads of these different noises. One of my favourite noises, actually, and we it's seeing as we've just basically openly admitted this is the best of. Maybe I should have just played this interview, but then I suppose there'd be no point in telling people to go on and listen again. So I'll do that. Yeah, Source FM. Find us on there. Find us on the. Basically, go to the Thursday Breakfast Show. There is a listen again thing. There's loads of episodes on there, guys. Honestly, and there's some pretty cool shows. I tell you that. We've got this bat episode. Actually, we get a couple of bat researchers from campus as well, chatting as well about the fact which really. If you're not a fan of bats, then this basically reminds you that you definitely should be, and that's the fact that obviously bats are essential for tequila. Yeah. Right. So if you want to know more about that, then listen to that odd show. Also, there's a bat that. So Chris Smith, the chap we had on the show talking about bats, he was saying one of the bats actually is commonly called by kids that he does these demos to the chip shop bat because it apparently it sounds. He says it sounds like this: chip shop, chip shop. I'm sure it does on the bat calls, but
right. Also, all of these noises are at pitches we can't hear, right?
Yes, exactly. So they've been, the frequency's basically been reduced such that we can hear them. Fantastic, yeah. And basically, right. So this song, he gave me this cassette. And he thought, I've got something for you, actually, Ben. I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, just take this and this. I think just give this a listen. I think you might find this quite amusing. I was like, okay, well, cool. And I was having a look. I was like, it was cool. I think it was called like Sounds of the Night or something. Sounds a bit initial. Oh, hello. I popped it on, right? So I had to buy, so I bought this basically adapter, right? So I could get the cassette onto my PC, so I could play on the show. And I was doing that. I was giving it a listen. I thought, what this is? And I skipped through to try and find, make some sense of it. And I came across this song, and it was this. It was amazing. And actually, it turns out that it's called Sounds of the Night because it's bats. Every noise in it is a bat. How cool is that? So here's the other one. Here's their number one hit, actually. So I played you their second hit.
What did this get to in the charts? Third or fourth? Or something?
Somewhere around like...
In the bat charts, anyway.
How many songs are there in the world? Something like 3 billion. Yeah. Yeah, it was somewhere around 3 billion.
Yeah, but if you get specific enough, it was number one somewhere.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and I think if more people knew about this, then they'd be requesting it like mad. Actually, I'm pleased they don't, because if we're not careful, people are just going to be texting in. That's the point, right? If you want to text and get a request on, do it. We've got a competition later, so I'm going to say that as well. But anyway, more of that later. First of all, the bat song. Here it is. Just listen to this. That is heavy. All right, Sam. One playthrough of the Penguin song, then we'll continue. Yeah?
Just as long as we get to the drop. Then I'm fine with that.
All right, I'll play it till we get to the drop at least, yeah? Are you going to do the... Because obviously we did have James on the show earlier, who's usually our hype man, but he's left now, so do you want to do the hype for this? Or
it doesn't need much hype. We'll play it and we'll see what happens.
All right, okay. All right, get on. Baby girl! Yeah! Go on, Sam, I know you can feel it. Here we go, the drop's coming, as promised. Ready? So, in case you're wondering, that synth is actually a penguin mating call.
You'll hear it better now. Here it comes.
Here it comes. Yeah. Oh! That's probably enough of that one, isn't it?
That is so good.
That's
the best thing you've ever done, Ben. Right.
Thank you. I must admit to being quite proud of that one. Yeah. Just came across, obviously in a bit of research for the show, it was essential to just Google as many ridiculous mating calls as possible. Oh no, I've just remembered the koala one. We're not playing that. That's too horrible. Right. Anyway, let's get on with the show then, and then maybe there'll be time to play the male koala noise because I can guarantee
maybe after our romantic giveaway.
Yes, that's true actually, because we have got the romantic competition. So do stay tuned actually, folks, because you are in for a chance, a very high chance as well, if you text in, of winning some really, really awesome prizes. And
we've got 3 prizes to give away.
3 prizes.
A star prize, A booby prize.
Yeah. I don't know about that. They're all star prizes. 3-star prizes. 3 very lucky people.
You realise
today.
I can't read out one of the prizes because it will sound awful if I say we're giving away.
It's okay. I can explain
right,
it.
You read that one.
But yeah, I mean, do stay tuned because I mean we're talking. One of them's worth 50 quid. One of them worth 75 quid. One of them's priceless.
Literally.
You know which one I mean?
Has no value.
No, I don't mean that. I mean it has too much value, mate. Infinity. Oh. Right, I tell you what, Churro Museum. Let's get on with the show. What am I talking
We're getting
about?
distracted.
Yeah, I'm getting distracted big time this morning. What's going on? It's already 8:15. Right, okay, let's progress because I want to get this game into. We've got loads to get through. Right, okay, right. Let's get this interview with Brett on then, talking about his documentary about Jane Goodall. This is fantastic. Hope you enjoy.
My name is Brett Morgan. I'm the producer-director of the new documentary Jane, about the adventures of Jane Goodall.
Fantastic. A very warm welcome to you, Brett. Thanks for joining us. First of all, I was just, taking a look at your extremely impressive filmography, as I'm sure people are familiar with some of your past works. You've worked on Cobain documentary, Rolling Stones documentary, Kids Days in the Picture about Robert Evans, and really, it kind of, and many more, of course. But I'm sensing kind of a theme here of kind of rock star characters, and actually that really doesn't surprise me that you then turn to Jane Goodall, because really she is, a superstar, a rock star of the kind of science world. But I'd really like to first of all just kind of get your reasons for picking Jane as a fantastic subject for your new documentary.
Well, yes, there is that. Jane is someone who has lived life entirely by her own rules. She's created the rules. She created an industry for herself. I think that Jane is far more punk. Yes. Than any punk rocker, any Mick Jagger, any Rolling Stone that I've ever encountered.
Yes.
I mean, this woman, it's one thing to swim upstream. It's another thing to get on a boat from England in 1957 when you're a 24-year-old English woman with no money, go to Africa and walk into a jungle by yourself, basically naked, saying, I'm not coming out until I cohabitat with wild chimpanzees who can kill me at a moment's notice.
Yes. Yes.
That is pretty punk.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it was funny when we have these shows on television today called like Naked and Afraid. Yeah. And when we were making this film, it was sort of weighed on my mind. I'm like, oh man, kids are going to watch this and be like, oh, I see this every day on television. But what people don't seem to understand is even the area that Jane was going to was completely uncharted. I mean, this was Jane walking into the Garden of Eden, really. Yes. It was and having this life-changing adventure, and to do what she did was extraordinary. But to have it photographed by one of the world's greatest cinematographers, who would end up becoming her husband, is really just a gift from the cinematic gods. Because I do think that on one hand, Jane's expedition, Jane's journey to go from outsider to someone who can actually coexist amongst the wild chimps is one of the most extraordinary scientific achievements of the 20th century. And Hugo's work documenting it really has to be considered one of the greatest cinematic achievements of that time. And when you synthesize those two and you add a score from Philip Glass, you get a film that I think has as much adventure as Star Wars, and as much love as Out of Africa.
Yes. No, it's absolutely beautiful. And as you're saying, it just sounds like what you're basically doing here is just, producing a piece of art, basically, that really needs to be explored and hasn't been explored enough so far. So I think people are really going to look forward to this. And I was actually just looking at the trailer on YouTube. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, people are going to be able to catch it, aren't they, on March the 12th, on the Natural Geographic channel, which really, this is really awesome. I believe it's the only BAFTA-nominated feature for Nat Geo so far, isn't it?
We're the first National Geographic film to be nominated for BAFTA. I think what we're thrilled about, and we're to be honest, I think this was much more important for Jane to receive a BAFTA nomination than an Academy nomination. I think that she said to me early on that she never felt, she's a global ambassador, but I think she might have felt that she doesn't get the recognition here in the UK that she gets around the rest of the world. So I think this meant the world to her to receive this honor and recognition. And more importantly, on March 12th, we're going to be broadcast in 150 countries around the world on the same day. And on that day, Jane's story is going to be seen by over 50 million people. And we are just moved. It's every filmmaker's dream, and this whole project has been a dream.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, just coming back to what you were saying about Jane's achievements. It's absolutely remarkable, isn't it? I mean, she totally revolutionised, the way we look at primates and really the way that we look at nature. And more importantly, you were saying, or perhaps equally as importantly, you were saying, what a feat for just, this lone woman to venture off into the hills and be around animals which could, as you say, at a moment's notice, just kill, extremely powerful animals. And it's extremely inspiring, I think. And I think it's particularly nice as well that, you're bringing to the limelight, helping to bring to the limelight now in this film, one of these inspirational women, because of course I think a problem which we face in science a lot, coming from a science background myself, one of these problems that we often see, I think, is we just simply don't talk enough about the achievements of inspirational women. So I think it's fantastic that you're actually doing that.
With Jane, there was really no one for her to look up to in the realm of science. I think there was one woman I talked to her about last night, but really there was nobody.
Yes.
And there still isn't anyone really. There's just Jane Goodall, and it's important that we quickly get to a point where that's no longer the case.
Yes.
But if you're going to have only one, let it be Jane Goodall, because she is beyond inspiring. She is so savvy and so smart and so self-reliant, and she did things that men could only dream they could do.
Yes, exactly. And this is a fantastic. Just to think a little bit more about the actual content of this film, you're actually going to be seeing a lot of footage. You can imagine it as like a behind the scenes, a real exploration of actually what went on. You were saying you've got all this fantastic footage that you're putting together, and this really does feel like you can basically join Jane on those adventures, which did change the world and change the scientific community.
If you think here's something for those who think they know Jane's story. 95% of the movie you were about to see was made up entirely of never-before-seen footage.
Yes.
So none of this footage has ever been seen. You are going to get insights into Jane's personal life that you didn't even know you wanted, and I think you're going to come out of it with even a greater appreciation. And again, this isn't a sycophantic, sort of one-sided piece. I had definite questions about some of her approaches and tactics.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's impossible not to admire her dedication.
Yes, exactly.
And her passion. And the passion that both her and Hugo have for the vocation is something that I think we all want to instill in our children.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think it's very important to get figures like this out there in these in films like this. It's fantastic. I just want it's fantastic work that you do, Brett. Thanks for coming on the show to talk to us. I will let you go shortly. A couple more questions, if that's okay. But yeah, you're saying that the icing on the cake really for this film is this. You've brought on board the composer Philip Glass, haven't you? You were saying. So really, this is just you've got all the ingredients there for just a brilliant story.
Yeah, we were just, to be able to work with Philip. Philip basically wrote an opera for Jane's life that you'll hear in the film. It's completely unique, and we it was like everything else with this project. We just felt that the time was right. We didn't realize how timely this was going to be, but then the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke, and suddenly we had this film about this young woman who had overcome all these insurmountable odds to achieve her dreams, and it just felt like the sort of perfect time for this film to come out.
Absolutely, and I can imagine as well that Jane herself must be, honoured that you've gone to this extent, to make this real, to make this come out there. Has she, if she's said anything at all about it?
Oh my God, Jane has seen the film, I think, 30 plus times at this point. I know she has seen it 3 times in the last 36 hours because I'm in London doing screenings, and I keep going, Jane, you don't have to sit through the movie. I want to see it. And she really didn't expect anything. When she was approached by National Geographic, she was like, come now, you can't do anything more with that old footage. And I think, what the difference is, unlike other films that force narration onto the script, this film I used her book In the Shadow of Man as our template, as our basically as our script.
Yes.
And so the film is very much from her point of view, which she greatly appreciates.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm sure people are really going to love this when they get to watch this, if they haven't caught it, of course. March the 12th, you were saying that people can check this out. Natural Geographic Channel, of course. Just towards the end, I will let you go very, very shortly, Brett. Just one last question, actually, for you, and that is, I'd just really be keen to give you a chance just to point anybody in the direction of, perhaps any more future works that you've been involved with. I mean, I know you've actually you've acted as executive producer for the pilot of a new Marvel TV series, Runaways, haven't you, as well?
Oh yeah, I just did this Marvel series called Runaways, which should be coming over here sometime in the next few months. But I think if people want to look at my work, Cobain Montage of Heck, I think is a fascinating insight into the psyche of a generation of Americans.
Yes.
It's not so much a film about Kurt Cobain, but a film about my generation and the damage that was inflicted on us by our boomer parents.
Yes.
If you want a little subtext. And I think my film, Crossfire Rolling Stone, don't dismiss it because it looks like a Rolling Stones greatest hits film. That film, we had access to every piece of film ever shot on the Rolling Stone, including all 27 hours of outtakes of Cocksucker Blues, of which I used every great frame imaginable.
Yes.
And was the first filmmaker to be able to sit and do 85 hours of interviews with the boys. So highly recommend Crossfire, which is also the only Rolling Stones film to receive an Emmy nomination for Best Documentary.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much indeed, Brett. I do urge people to go and check those out and indeed all of your other works. Thanks for coming on the show, Brett. Have you got a cheeky song request, actually? Can I play you a song at all for your appearance at all? Have you got anything off the top of your head?
Unless you're playing the Philip Glass score for the film, how about what genre are we talking about?
Anything that you like, anything off the top of your head.
Okay,
and
let's spend the night together by the Rolling Stones. How about that?
Nice, yeah, excellent choice. Well, thank you, Brett. I'll let you go. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's Ben giving us some damn fine work.
There you go, Sam. It's ready for this little announcement.
All right. Keep playing, Ben. I want that over the top.
Okay, just a little bit. Just a little bit. There you are.
So, people, it's time for our competition. As the temperatures drop and Valentine's Day approaches, it is the perfect time to get a little bit romantic. So me and Ben have got this cosy competition for you. That's good, Ben. That's good. Do you want to hear those prizes, Ben?
Oh, lots of it gone. Tell us about these prizes.
So perhaps the first prize, perhaps you want to buy your significant other a new outfit or buy yourself something nice for Valentine's Day. So we've got a £75 voucher for M&S women's wear. That's 75. That's
a good prize.
That's a great prize. So that's a £75 M&S voucher for women's wear, courtesy of M&S women's wear. Thank you very much for that. And another prize we've got for you. I'm not going to say first or second prizes. They're all prizes.
They're all fantastic, aren't they?
So how about fellas? If you want to keep yourself looking young, we don't just want a prize for ladies. We want a prize for everyone. So fellas, if you want to keep yourself looking young and attractive, how about win this health hamper?
No,
stop laughing because it is a great thing I've written there, and you think it's silly.
No, it's
so if fellas want to keep themselves looking young and
keep
attractive,
going. I like the script. Go on.
Get yourself a health hamper, courtesy of Sunvit. Sunvit vitamins. This will contain all the things you need.
And that's actually worth £50. £50. It's a great prize.
Health voucher.
So that's prize number 2.
Health hamper. Great prize. And I'm not going to read this prize out, Ben.
Really? But this is the best. This is the best prize.
No, there are no best prizes. Just prizes.
But okay, so this prize. Now everyone's going to. I'll tell you how you can enter this competition in a second, right? We're going to tell you the prizes first, just to get this prize that we're giving away today, people. Right? Along with this, courtesy of M&S Women's Wear, we've got the £75 voucher, which is fantastic. We've also got this fantastic hamper.
The health hamper.
The health hamper.
£50 worth of health hamper.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But here we go. Are you ready for this? Because we have. I don't know if I can give this one away, mate. I quit, mate. No, okay, right. This one is a signed, custom portrait of Sam. Signed. Hand signed.
Is it going to be hand signed?
You're going to sign it, right? Yeah, I've got it in the bag, mate. You have to sign it.
That's courtesy of Ben. Ben Makin Productions. Go check him out on SoundCloud if you want to hear some of his music, or courtesy of Ben Makin Productions. So thank you, Ben Makin Productions, for.
Don't do that.
Thank you for those that portrait. It is ridiculous.
Far too modest, mate.
You could do anything with it. You could put it like line something with, or like rest stuff on it.
Actually, I'm pleased that you brought up what can I do with it, because I demonstrated the only thing you can do with this. You can go on our Facebook page, find the Breakfast Show Facebook page. Easiest way to do that, actually, if you if you're one of those people who are a bit like me, can't really be bothered to go on Facebook and search away for the different pages. No. But what you can do to easily do it, right? Go on the Source FM website and find our Breakfast Show page. There's a Breakfast Show page, and there's tons of details there, so you can get in touch. This is how you get into the competition. Tell you more about that in a second, but you can contact us there. But there's also a link to our Facebook page, right? And on there's a photo, right, of an artist's idea of where this portrait should be hung, and really it's only going to have to... It's mantelpiece only, really, isn't it? It's above the fireplace.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Well, to enter this competition, Ben...
Go on. Reveal.
All we want to do is we want you to tell us the silliest pet name you have for your partner.
Yeah, and this is great. So, the sillier the better, right?
Sillier the better. We're going to pick... I think the way we'll do it is we'll pick our top 3... silliest names that we receive.
Mate, I'm just going to have to interrupt you, mate. Yep. Just got a text from James. He says, I want the portrait of Sam. James, you know how to win it, mate. Let us know what...
We want to know what is the silliest pet name you have for your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, right? It's simple. So just text me. If you don't have internet available, you can't go on the Source FM page. Just text me, actually. So text me on 07860 670 917. That again, so make sure you're taking notes now. 07860 670 917, right? And that you can text me direct on that. All you need to do, very simple, just your silliest pet name, right? And you could be in with a chance to win one of these fantastic prizes.
So that is, we're giving away. This is madness.
Tell us again what we're giving away.
We're giving away a £75 women's wear voucher for M&S.
Yeah,
courtesy of M&S Women's Wear. We're giving away a health hamper worth £50.
Yeah,
courtesy of Sunvit.
Yeah.
And we're giving away a pointless signed photo.
No! The best! It's a fantastic portrait.
£0.
Oh, James's text. The little marks are coming saying he's writing. Maybe he's going to reveal the pet name.
Do you want to read out any of the other entries we've had
so far?
Go on then,
should we read out what we've had so far? So far, maybe you could reveal one of them, mate.
What?
Do you want to reveal one of them? Or?
Maybe we won't read them out on air.
No. Well, I tell you what. No. It's not fair, is it? We're not going to name and shame, because that's not how the competition works. But
just tell us the silliest name.
We'll
read out the winners.
We've received. I can tell you that we have received, and I won't say who, right? But we have received Mighty Megasaurus.
Nice one. That's a good name.
Okay, come on, people. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I had to read this a few times to check that I was going to say this right, but we've just got another entry.
Yep.
Bubblub. Is that
Bubblub? That's good.
Is it saying Bubblub? I think.
Nice. I like that.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's in with us. Very solid chance.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, this particular applicant has actually James. This particular applicant has actually specified that he really wants to win the portrait. So.
Well, we'll see what it.
We can. What the thing is, the great thing about that portrait, mate, there's a very, very limited range. Obviously, the original piece, obviously, that's priceless.
So there's one piece, and then there's a limited print run.
I think the original piece it's going to have to be hung up in your home, Sam. So we can probably only offer very accurate.
Still be hand signed.
Obviously hand signed, yeah, but you know what I mean. But it's just we can't really just hand out. Well, we can hand out priceless art because that's how fantastic we are.
We already given away £125 worth of stuff in this competition.
Exactly.
And then
and then priceless stuff.
Piece of paper.
No, priceless. There was. Oh, hello. We have another applicant. I won't name.
We're not naming and shaming anyone.
No naming and shaming. Because that's not how we do things, is it?
No.
I mean, we did it for James, but that was a one-off.
We're happy to name
because he's the guest MC, so it doesn't matter, does it? But we do have
resident MC. This is a good one.
We've got purple chicken. That's fantastic. I'm going to have to give that a little... Right, we've got some solid entries already.
Enter by either texting in. Go to the Facebook page.
We did have pickled egg as well from a mysterious applicant. So we're really racking them up. They're fantastic. So keep them coming, right?
Keep them coming in.
Because
this competition, it runs until what time today, Ben?
Well, we're going to have to decide around 3:00 so that we can get the prizes out by tomorrow, basically. So you'll have it for the weekend. That's the plan.
Brilliant. So the competition will close at 3 p.m. today.
Yes.
And we'll be in contact very soon after.
Yes, exactly. So all you need to do really is just think of your silliest pet name, right? I won't be angry if you make it up. That's fine. But
no, you've got to. If you send it in, you've got to at least one time called your partner that.
That's a good rule. We've established that rule now.
And if you haven't, we will not know.
Yeah.
But
but it's just it's all about. It's in the spirit of love.
When we turn up or send you your prize, we will address it to the pet name.
Yes, exactly. So if they don't know who that is, then they won't know how to pick it up. So. Right, okay, well, let's carry on. So, if you're listening, and that competition for those prizes, all you need to do is text me direct, and you can find all of the contact details that you will need on the Thursday Breakfast Show page on Source FM. That was a fantastic Valentine's Day giveaway. Number one prize there is the £75 voucher, M&S, courtesy M&S Womenswear, actually, for Valentine's Day. So that's fantastic. Right, let's crack on with the show. So, I was thinking, Sam, I've got a brilliant game that I'd like to play with you, actually. I was thinking maybe we'll do an interview, and then we'll come out and we'll do the little game, because I've got a brilliant game that I really want to play with you, right?
I'm looking forward to this.
Made it up last night. I was so proud of myself. You'll see anyway. You know what, actually, first of all, I want to just remember the time, because I was thinking about, highlights and stuff, and I was thinking, one of my favourite times, actually, ever, obviously, whenever you're on the show, Sam, that's always a favourite time, having you here.
Yeah, that's the same.
That's...
Being here is my highlight of the show.
Can't tell you how good it is having you, mate. Anyway, right, I just thought, okay, so I can't exactly pick the number one favourite. That's the number one favourite thing. One of my favourite times was when I met, over the phone, but I'll just say met because it sounds cooler, Ben Hanlon, magician and presenter of Tricked on ITV, right? And this was really cool, man, because the cool thing about it was that he was called Ben, and that's basically the extent of that. Fantastic interview though. So you can listen to that on an old show if you like. But I just wanted to play the little intro, just so you can hear how sweet, banter. Just listen, man.
Just the kind of thing you get.
Good morning, Ben. You're right.
Hello, Ben. Yeah, this is cool. It's Ben and Ben. I quite like this. This is a good start, I think.
I shouldn't forget your name, should I?
No, exactly. Well, how are you doing?
Yes, good, thank you, mate. Yeah, good morning. How's it down in Cornwall? What's the weather doing?
Great guy, Ben. Yeah, it's good. It's not too bad. I mean, it could be a lot worse, I suppose. It's not hammering it down, which is the usual state of things in Cornwall. I'm afraid. It's not too bad. I haven't had my morning pasty yet, though, so things aren't ideal quite yet.
Your morning pasta?
Yeah, morning pasty, Cornish pasty.
Oh, pasty, yeah.
You've got to have a morning pasty.
Yeah, the electricity sort of died a bit there.
Rules. No, that was it, mate. No. Fantastic, I thought. Well, anyway, you can hear that interview with Ben Hanlon. He's actually talking about just loads of stuff, actually. That was just before Christmas. So
can you tell you how they do the magic, then?
Yes, we got talking about magic, talking about present ideas as well. So basically, we had a bunch of people. We had Matt Edmondson, actually, on that show as well. Awesome. And Dr. Ranj as well. Dr. Ranj is steamy, mate. Have you seen Dr. Ranj? Google him. Honestly, I'll wait. So he's the presenter. He's on CBeebies, the resident doctor. Trust me, mate. He is a fantastic fellow. Anyway, you know what Dr. Ranj did? I should have pulled out this clip actually. But when he first got him on, he said, "Oh, hello, good morning." Sounding very modest, and I was like, "Oh, Dr. Ranj, is that just checking? So yeah, it's me. It's like, oh, good. Could you just could you just give yourself a little introduction for the listeners? Are you excited when they hear it's you?" And he was like, no, I'm serious. No, I would like you to know. They're going to be excited. He was like, what? You want me to just say my name? They're not going to care about that. I was like, they will. He's so modest. He's so modest. Yeah. He's He's got to be one of the coolest guests as well. We've had so many great guests. Thank you very much to all of our guests so far. Absolutely delighted to have every last one of you. And, today we've had Robert Hannigan and Matthew Webb. Thank you very much to both of you. We've had Brett Morgan as well. It's fantastic. So I think I just picked out one interview because I think, we did play this once. But this one actually isn't on the catch-up, so I just thought, well, we'll give this a little play, because I really like this one. So for a few weeks ago now, but this was Sarah Willingham, one of the Dragons on Dragon's Den, of course, talking about the entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, so I thought we'd give this a little spin. Well, okay, Sam, I tell you what, I'll let you decide. We could either have this first, so the Sarah Willingham, talking about business, fantastic, or we can be taught how to make the perfect cream tea by Nicholas Rodder himself. Which one would you care for first? And then we'll play the game, then we'll do the other one, yeah? What are you thinking? Thinking.
So we'll go. You've given the intro to Sarah, and
should we do Sarah?
Okay,
fantastic. Well, a very warm welcome to you, Sarah. Thanks for joining us again. So this was great when we had you on the show. So here we are. Here's Sarah Willingham. People, enjoy.
A third of kids aspiring to become entrepreneurs is absolutely brilliant. And also, I don't know if you saw the statistic where it said on average youngsters earn about £5,000 by the age of 16, and almost half are running a little side business for extra cash. So actually almost half are already doing something entrepreneurial, which I just think is so encouraging. I mean, I'm not surprised, because I do think that over the years, if I look back at the last 30 years, really, it's become cooler and cooler and cooler to become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I think it's become actually we've got a very good kind of economic landscape without getting too boring about it. But the UK is a very, very, very good place to start and to run a business. And I think it's so encouraging to see that kids see that as something that they want to do.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I personally reckon that this kind of thing could as well be in part because of champions such as yourself in the media, and it's being well circulated, I think, to people, and they can see people like yourself who are these amazing success stories, and maybe they want to try it for themselves.
I do think that there is something in that sort of almost sort of celebritizing. Is that even a word?
Yes.
Celebritizing entrepreneurs. It does make it. And the thing with business is that business is achievable for anybody, but not everybody is born with an amazing singing voice or... Yes. If somebody had told me when I was 5 years old, right, you've got to become a dancer, I would be on the streets. My hips do not move. I'm just not born that way. Or not everybody's born with an amazing sports skill or, that natural ability. But the thing is business is actually, depending on whichever level you want to go at it from, it's achievable for really pretty much anybody. Certainly if you realise that you have particular weaknesses and you find a good partner that you can work with, that fills those gaps. Actually, this is something that anybody can aspire to do, and making it simple. And this is a big part of what this campaign is about.
Yes.
What Xero do is they help businesses with their cash flow management, with their software packages, and it's about saying, well, actually, that's one of the biggest reasons why businesses fold in the early years. Small businesses fold. So if we can get to the kids young and just help them with the real basics of cash flow management, and we hear the word cash flow management, oh, what on earth are you talking about? That's like hideous, scary words. But actually, it's really basic. This is, I've got £5. I need 20.
Yes.
How am I going to get the 20? And what do I need to spend in the meantime? So if I earn 15, is that enough? Or actually, well, no, because it also costs me £5 a week to live as a 14-year-old. So I probably need, in 6 weeks' time, I will have earned enough to buy the thing for £20.
Yes.
That is it. That is cash flow management. That's what's so great about this campaign, is that it's making it so simple for kids and parents to understand, so that we can help our kids as well.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, even the name itself, it just gets that across, isn't it? It's making it simple, making cash flow, child's play.
Yes, I don't know if you've seen the video, but the video is awesome. It's kids talking about exactly that, cash flow,
yes.
and it's from the point of view of just getting pocket money from dad, and it's absolutely brilliant because it does talk about the basic principles of, make sure you invoice promptly, and of course it's done in a really lovely way of making sure that you've written the note to dad to remind him that, every Thursday by 5 o'clock he's supposed to have had your pocket money. Invoicing, defining your payment terms, so saying, well, I you've got to pay me within 24 hours of me writing this little note to you, Dad.
Yes.
But actually, all those things are really important in business. So if you can start to do those, I did some research a few years ago. I was working with somebody who was doing some research a few years ago, talking about how early your relationship with financial management is set, and we worked with Cambridge University on it, and it's from the age of 7, your relationship, it can be set that early. So if you can get good habits into your kids from a very, very young age, then I think the future is looking extremely bright for the entrepreneurs of this country. That's
fantastic. I mean, because this is something that came through, isn't it, in this little survey that the company did? Because actually, despite the fact that a lot of children are interested in doing this in the future, and as you say, a lot of them have these little side projects and things earning money, which is awesome. But I think it also came across into it that actually, as you say, the kind of basics of the cash flow weren't really there. So it would be a major benefit to actually get that across, as you say, get it across early.
Yeah, I think the idea of saving for some kids is difficult, and I think the more time I've spent working in this area, and I've got 4 kids of my own, I do think that some kids are born savers and some kids are born spenders, and it is hard for kids to see past today, to understand the context of today in the fact that, well, it's just a day and there is still a future. So I do think that it's difficult to explain to some children the importance of saving, but getting those good habits in earlier will really, really help that. And I think working with those kids who are naturally spenders, I've got 2 that are naturally spenders and 2 that are naturally savers.
Yes.
And working with those ones that are naturally spenders to say, well, yeah, that's what you could buy today, but actually, in 4 weeks' time, if you continue to do those extra chores or whatever it might be to earn that extra cash, you could have this.
Yes.
And it's just trying to help them to understand that, the value of that money is more in 3 weeks' time or in 4 weeks' time or whatever. So I think it's good for us as parents to be able to work with them on some of these basics. Yes,
absolutely. No, that sounds very wise. I can remember. Actually, I was about to say I can remember when I was young, I was extremely bad at saving. But actually, I'm pretty sure I still am, to be honest. The other day, I randomly bought a pet gecko for absolutely no reason, and that was like 200, 300.
Gecko? Pet gecko. My kids would love you. That's awesome.
Yeah, don't tell them. They'll probably go away.
How cool is that?
It's very, very cool. He's called Zeus, in case you wanted to know.
Zeus. Oh, that's brilliant. But you see, you said you've never really been great at saving, but I do quite genuinely think that people are born spenders or they're born savers, and so you do have to consciously work. I am definitely naturally a spender, but I have learned to save. I've learned the importance of cash flow management.
Yes.
Not just in my own personal life, but also a lot of it because of business.
Yes.
And I've been able to bring that into my personal life because I've been good at it in businesses.
Yes.
And it isn't natural, I've had to go against the grain for me.
Yes,
because
yeah, exactly.
I was one of those kids that, I had a job from the age of 11 and I spent the money that I earned.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder if in part as well it's because, you kind of look through the the list of advice and points actually that the Zero have put across, and maybe it's beautiful that it's put in this really simple way, and maybe it's just the major point to make, perhaps, or one of the major points to make is this really is, it's just almost so simple, but it's just something which is just seems to be completely overlooked, I guess, and it's really worth just returning to the basics and regardless of kind of who you are and where you are in business, to return to the basics and just think about that cash flow, the basics.
Yeah, I think the big thing is to say to kids, if a third of you want to become entrepreneurs,
yes,
and actually, it's 2/3 of businesses fail as a result of poor cash flow management.
Yes, yeah.
Then let's start learning what cash flow management really means as early as possible to stop those problems in the future. I think that's got to be the message. Kids, this is worth paying attention to, because if this is what you aspire to be in the future, this is likely to be the reason why you fail if you fail. So let's stop that happening now by understanding what this really means.
Yes. Yeah, well, thank you very much, Sarah, for talking to us this morning. So where should we send? Because we've got a link for this, haven't we? We could send people to if they're listening to this and they're interested.
Yeah, so if you want to watch the video, which I think is, if you do nothing else, watch this video.
Yeah, that sounds
awesome.
good.
Then go to the XERO blog. So if you just type it into Google, it'll come up, and you can just watch the Making Cash Flow Child's Play video. It's really cool.
Fantastic. Cool. Definitely worth, I think, anyone listening, if they've got kids, maybe take a look at that and think about what you could do to help your own kids out, basically.
Do you know what? I'll let you into a secret. Even if you haven't got kids, you should still watch it.
Yeah, well, I think so. We've decided that I should. I should certainly. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time,
I hope you
Sarah.
and Zeus are very happy together. Enjoy your new gecko.
Well, we will be, and the great thing is, because now I'm going to save a lot, so then I can buy him lots of treats in the future, you see.
You can buy him a bigger home and maybe a friend. It's all coming together. Love it.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Sarah. Thank you.
All right, love. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye.
Well, thanks again. So, Sam, you know what? My mum texted me, right, whilst that interview was on for the first time, and she said, Ben, you know nothing about saving money, and you are entirely unqualified to be talking to Sarah Willingham. How rude! How rude was that?
She has got your carrot and your tea, though.
Yeah, I got taken down.
You do
live
know
on
nothing
air by my mum
of saving money, but neither do I. So,
well, mate, we're great. Don't worry about it. So, right. So we had a really solid plan, actually, because we are coming to the end of the show. We're very sorry about that. Don't like coming to the end of the show. Very sad time. But don't be scared, because we've got a little competition. We've got a competition running, right? And also, we're about to play a little game as well. Sam, do you want to do a quick reminder of the competition for people? Yeah?
It's a competition. There's 3 prizes. 2 of them are good prizes. So you've got a £75 voucher for M&S Women's Wear. That's courtesy of M&S Women's Wear. And there's a £50 Sunvit health hamper. Mm-hmm. That's also as a prize. And there's a third prize.
The third prize is the best.
But the way to enter is you need to send us in the silliest pet name you have for your partner. So we want to hear the funniest things you call your partner. And you need to send those in either on the Facebook. So find our Facebook through either the Source FM website or on Facebook. Or text Ben. And Ben, what's that number again?
Oh, please you asked me. It's 07860 670 917. There are more contact details on the Source FM page. So if you find our website, Source FM website, then you can find the Thursday Breakfast Show page. If you want to enter, and you just have to get them.
The odds of winning are high, and the prizes are great. So.
Exactly. You have to tell us by 3. Okay, we can't leave it any later than 3. Today, okay?
And you'll find out today if you've won.
Right, okay, so I just want to say thank you to all of our special guests today. Thank you very much to Robert Hannigan. Absolute pleasure to have a man such as Robert on the show today with us. So thank you very much, Robert. Thank you to Matthew Webb as well from Hiscox. Fantastic chatting to you as well this morning. Thank you to Brett Morgan, fantastic director, producer, and talking about his new show, his new documentary, all about Jane Goodall. That was brilliant. And thank you again, of course, to Sarah Willingham. Now, Sam, here's the game. Right, very simple rules, right? So it's a bit like musical chairs, but so the music's going to randomly stop. Okay.
Yep.
We pass these chilies. So I've got a chili, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, when it stops, you take a bite, pass it on. When the whole chili's gone. So just a little bite, it's fine. You don't have to go crazy. Obviously, it will get progressively hotter. So that's another element of the game, which is quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
You please, this game's good, isn't it?
This is a great idea.
So when you run out of one, you just grab another chili, right? And we keep going. So we just pass it between us. Maybe tell you what, pass it, put it round your head once, pass it back.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to do. And then when you run out, grab another chili, and so take a bite when the music stops. You know the rules, but musical chairs, but with chilies, right? So here's the music. It's got a little announcement for the game as well. So should we give this a listen and just prepare yourself?
I'll start with the chili. And then
start with the chili.
I'll let people know where the chili is by saying
you'll
to me
have
or
the
to you.
That's a good idea.
I'll say to me to you. It's
Don't forget
back to the chuckle brothers. Round the head.
Yeah.
To you.
Right, okay. Well, let's get the little announcement on, shall we?
Contestants, take your positions. May the greatest chili connoisseur win. And may he be infinitely cooler, forevermore, than Sam. In fact, we all know Ben is going to win. It's obvious. Sorry, Sam. Cue the ridiculously awesome beat. I love this job.
Oh, how we go? Ready, mate?
To you.
Right, I got it.
To me.
Oh,
to you.
I'm scared.
To me. To you.
Round the old head, Here we go.
To me.
Oh, I'm not liking this.
To you.
Actually, it's more like pass the bomb, isn't it?
To me.
The bomb is the...
To you.
Oh.
To me.
I have no idea where this stops, by the way. I did it randomly. Okay.
To me.
To
you.
Oh, it's going to stop any second.
To me. To you.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, it's hot.
Okay,
it's hot.
to me.
It's hot.
To you.
Me again.
Again.
No. It's really hot, man. It's really hot. Oh, God.
To you.
Oh, it's boiling.
To me. To you.
I best not get this again, man.
To me. To you.
Woo!
To me.
Man, I'm starting to feel the pain. Oh, not again. Oh. I'm actually in pain. I'm in pain. I'm not having any more. Why did I do this game?
To me. This is the greatest game.
Oh, you got it. That was you, man.
That's still me. Cat here.
You still got it, man. Taking a chili.
It's yours.
No. I'm boiling.
Bite it. You got your own too. Alright. Ben's gone. How you doing over there, Ben?
Oh, man, it's so hot.
Well, he got what he deserved. That is really hot. I need to go and get a drink. So I'm going to play something so I can have a drink. Oh. Sorry. This is really difficult to keep talking. This is going on. Oh, the computer's frozen, Ben. And I can't talk.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. Keep going.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. This has been a pleasure.
Right, coming to quickly close up. Oh,
Ben,
no.
yeah. So,
a lot of pain.
Thank you to all the guests that have been on the show today.
Indeed, thank you.
I'm crying.
Oh, let's close up, man. I can't speak.
So yeah, thank you very much for being on the show. All the guests.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Remember to enter our competition.
Yeah.
Those prizes are great. Ben, it's been a pleasure. I'm going away for a little bit, so I don't know when I'll be next on the show.
Yeah. Last live show for a while. Well, thank you, everybody we've had so far. Thank you to all of our special guests.
My ears hurt.
Yeah, everything hurts. But let's close up. I'm sorry, we've got to make this brief. Love you all. Thanks for listening. Oh, woo! Goodbye now.